12 fragrance clones that are really good that you might have missed. This is a list that spans actually probably, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. There's going to be about half that are pretty new. Some of them are brand new. And then there's going to be several that have been out for years that if you weren't around the fragrance game back 5, 6 years ago, you might have missed them entirely. So this is a really good list, and some that don't really get a lot of love either because people don't know, or maybe they've just kind of fallen out of the spotlight. So this is going to be a good one. As we get ready to start, remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Also, let me know down in the comments, what would you add to this list, clones that are great that you probably could have easily missed. All right, here we go. This first one, this is one that whenever I saw it on Aromatic's channel, a channel that I watched that has a lot of great clone videos, Neeb said that this was a clone of Invictus Elixir, and I thought, oh man, I got to get that. So I picked it up. This is Collage Epic Artistique, and I actually went to Ulta because I have a clone of the Invictus Victory Original, the one that Maison Alhambra did. And I went and tested Invictus Victory and the Elixir, tested them out. I actually brought home carded, the sprays on paper so that I could, even though it's not the same as doing side by side, I could at least take right off of the paper and spray this and compare them. And I'm telling you, this is pretty close to Invictus Elixir. And so this one right here is going to open with a good bit of sweetness. I mean, it even reminds me a little bit of something like 1 Million Elixir, but then it goes down into that sort of familiar, dark, textured kind of vibe that you get in Invictus Victory. I got this on Amazon for, I think, $40, right around 40, and it was an excellent pickup. Okay, next. This is one that you probably missed unless you were paying attention, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago. This one is a clone of Stronger With You Leather, and it's a pretty good clone, and it's cheap. This is Oud 24 Hours Majestic Gold by, is it Ardell? This is Oud 24 Hours Majestic Gold by Ardell. And I mean, you know it right when you spray it on. If you're familiar with Stronger With You, you're going to know, man, this has got that sweet gourmand chestnut. You just know that DNA, but then it's got a leather note that's gorgeous. It reminds me a lot of Philip Plein No Limits or Gucci Guilty Absolute, I think it is. They've both got a very similar kind of leather note. This one's got a touch of that as well as that Stronger With You sweetness, and you can get it for like 25 bucks. Ardell Majestic Gold, Oud 24 Hours Majestic Gold. This next one, this is another one, would have been easy to miss. If you weren't paying attention a few years ago, this is one that came out that a lot of people were saying this is a clone of Bond Number 9 New Harlem. A lot of people say that fragrance smells like a pancake breakfast with coffee. Well, guess what this one, Michael Jordan Legend, smells like? It is this beautiful vanillic sweet fragrance with coffee. And I haven't smelled New Harlem, but this one gives you a pancake kind of, sweet vibe with coffee, but it's also got a beautiful leather note that's going to remind you of CH Men. And so mix kind of a pancake coffee breakfast with CH Men, and that's what you get in Michael Jordan Legend. I got this, I think, for $12 at TJ Maxx or Burlington, one of those. So that's a great pickup. Okay, next, this is one I've mentioned. And I've maybe seen just in the last few weeks, maybe one other person mention, but this one is a clone of Memo's African Leather, one of my favorite leather fragrances. This is Maison Alhambra Afro Leather, and this is a $20 Amazon gem. It doesn't have the texture or the quality of course, the Memo, a $200 fragrance, but in the air, this smells very close to that gorgeous, somewhat coarse leather with beautiful cardamom, spiciness, and sweetness. Afro leather, a great pickup. Pretty close to the original, although there's a big difference in quality. No surprise there. Okay, next, this is another one of these ultra cheapies that you easily could have missed from a few years back. This one is a clone of Amouage Interlude Man, the Blue Beast. I'm not a huge fan of Interlude Man. I like Interlude 53 a little better. I've just sampled that out in the store. I like Black Iris a little better. You know, it's an herbal, smoky, resinous, very unique fragrance. And this one is another Ardell Zeron, a $10 pickup on Amazon. This is just Midnight Oud. The 50 ml bottles of these Middle Eastern clones like this are so cheap, $10, $12 if you can find them on Amazon. And I'm telling you, again, I don't love the original. You can see I've worn it a little bit in the last few years, but it's, to my nose, very close, surprisingly close. I don't know how you could accomplish such a complicated fragrance profile for so cheap, but they've done it, and I think it's a pretty good clone, and many others have said the same. Midnight Oud. And while we are on the topic of these little 50 ml, $10 bottles, I'll tell you another one that I think is very impressive for the price. This one's a clone of Tom Ford Black Orchid, which I used to like it a lot more than I do now, but this one's very close. It's got that floral nature, that chocolatey vibe, a touch of spice. This is Ardell Zeron, just the original Oud 24 hours. You will know the moment you spray it exactly what this is supposed to be. Again, it's not going to touch the quality of the Tom Ford, but if you just want something that smells like it, $10 on Amazon, right here, Oud 24 hours. Okay, we'll go now to one that is brand new. This one is a clone of Baby Cat. I'd been wanting to pick up Riffacat, Fragrance World's clone, but it's been out of stock for the last 6 months or so since I've seen that it exists. And so I saw Ash on GenSense do a video about this one. He said it's a really good clone of Baby Cat, so I picked it up. This is Arabiat Prestige Nel Queen. And so this is a vanillic, leathery fragrance. And I would say this is divisive. It's not a crowd pleaser. It's not for everybody. And I'll tell you, it's a strong fragrance. The first time I got it, I sprayed 5 sprays on my arm. It was way too much. And what I found with this one is if you spray 3 sprays, spaced out, maybe like one on this arm, one on this arm, one on the back of the neck, that is all you need. It's got leather, but it's also got a real standout woodsiness. And if you spray too much in one spot, that woodsiness turns into a very strong, overpowering pencil shaving vibe. I don't like that in fragrances. But this one, if you spread it out a little bit and go light, it's going to give you the power you need. Leathery, vanilla. Pretty unique though. And again, I would say most people probably don't, not most people, but a lot of people probably wouldn't love the Baby Cat kind of DNA. It's interesting though. I'm experimenting. I'm kind of getting used to it. I think I'm going to end up liking it. Okay, this is another one that was kind of a star when it came out. This is one of the earlier great quality, inexpensive Parfums de Marly clones. If you like Pegasus, this is a fantastic clone of Pegasus, and it's pretty cheap, less than 30 bucks, 25, something like that. This is Armaf Craze, and they absolutely nail that metallic, powdery almond vanilla. That's what you get. I love it. It's so unique. It's so strange, but I love it, and it reminds me of the snow. This is my go-to snowy fragrance, Armaf Craze. Metallic, powdery, almond, vanilla. This is it right here. I've got at least one other clone of Pegasus, and I love that DNA. Okay, this next one. When this came out, I think this was the first, it was the first clone that I saw of Dior Sauvage Elixir. It is nuclear, and a few of kind of the big channels did videos on it saying this stuff is amazing. It smells exactly like the original. You'll see how much I've worn this a lot, and I've barely put a dent in it at all. It is an awesome clone of Sauvage Elixir. This is Alexandria's Et Sauvage Elixir. I mean, you can see I've barely used any, but I've worn this dozens of times because 3 sprays is all I can handle. I mean, there's some fragrances I'll spray 12 times, but if I spray this one that much, it would just destroy me. I would have a headache probably within a half hour. It's super close. It nails the licorice, which is my favorite note in the fragrance. That powerful, aromatic pepperiness, that sweetness, all of it is here. It's super close to the original. It's a great pickup, but Alexandria fragrances are expensive. Keep that in mind. If you buy like 3 at once, you can get free shipping. There are ways to kind of game the system. You can get 15% off with their discount code. But, you know, price per mil, it ain't cheap. None of them are. Okay, this next one, this one's pretty new, and it's one that it would have been easy to miss because hardly anybody has talked about this one, but this is a fantastic clone of Amouage Reflection Man. This is Cologne Shiaka. Some people call it Shiaka Red because of the red label. There's a blue one. I think there might be a black one. And this one is just a phenomenal clone of Reflection Man. I mean, again, I went to Neiman Marcus so I could do kind of a side-by-side. I don't own the original Reflection Man, and it's just extremely close. That sort of powdery iris and that sweetness, that the floral note. I'm blanking on what it's called, but all of it is there, and they did a really good job. It's a pretty good performer. You know, it's maybe 7 hours or so, but for a fragrance like this, that's pretty good. Shiaka Red by Cologne. Okay, this next one, this is one that when it came out, it got some notice. I don't know about hype, or I don't even know when it came out, but I remember back a few years ago, some people were talking about it because it's a cheap, readily available, heavily inspired fragrance that smells an awfully lot like La Nuit de l'Homme. This is Guess Seductive Homme Bleu. And you can see one of my sons loves this and has worn it a whole lot. They've used about half the bottle. And I think I got this for $15 at one of the rack stores. I see it very often. It's not hard to find if you've got rack stores nearby, TJ Maxx or Burlington or the others. And this one is basically La Nuit de l'Homme with a little bit more powderiness. It's not quite as complex. The quality's not quite as high, but it's a pretty good, heavily inspired fragrance that will remind you a lot of La Nuit de l'Homme. That cardamom, you know, powdery cardamom vibe is what you notice. Number 12. I forgot to tell you at the beginning, maybe, that there's 12 of these. This one right here, when it came out, it got tons of hype because it's super cheap. You can still get this around $20. It used to be a little less than $20. And it is a powerful, I mean, long-lasting, powerfully projecting, very good clone of a discontinued tobacco gem. This is a clone of Pure Havane by Mugler. This is Insurrection 2 Wild. And this thing, you can see I've put a big dent in it. I love tobacco fragrances. This is kind of like, you know, cherry pipe tobacco with some vanilla and some chocolate and a number of different spices, peppers, that kind of thing. It's just great. If you like loud, sweet, slightly spicy tobacco fragrances, this is what you want to get right here for maybe $20, $22. Pick it up even on Amazon. It is a killer. So that's been 12 clone fragrances you might have missed. Let me know what you think in the comments and what would you add to the list. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. I've got videos coming out every couple days. And give the video a like if you got something out of this. I am Justin, and this has been See Ya Since.